resources, why can't they be here?
We don't have a problem with them being here because here is there. It's the same country,
Okay.
the same land. Before, look, all of them people they calling them illegals coming from Mexico to California and Arizona, that was Mexico first. So you saying I can't go from one part of my house to the other part of my house? Well, I don't understand that, right? But the issue is not the reason that they bringing them over here. It has nothing to do with their suffering.
Okay.
It has everything to do with controlling the outcome of elections. Votes ain't what we think they is, right? Nobody that you voting for, your vote gonna actually put them people in power. It's not gonna happen. all of the elections are rigged. Been rigged from the beginning. The biggest trick they ever played on us was to get us to demand something called voter rights. We're not stakeholders in the corporation. Our vote don't count. How do we know this? Because the stakeholders vote after we do. They call them the electoral college. So they let us say what we gonna say, and then they laugh at us, and then they do what they were gonna do anyway.
Crazy.
Because as long as we feel included in a decision-making process, we won't overthrow their regime. So it's all an illusion to make you believe you're part of this system. And the system is on your back. It's not a system that opened doors for you. It's a system that's on your shoulders. You don't know that the system is on top of you because they got you believing that you're a participant. You're not a participant. Since 1776, everybody that's calling themselves American has been a victim. I don't care what you look like. Because when the law was laid out, like for instance, the Emancipation Proclamation was supposed to free the slaves, which were 13th and 14th Amendment. No. Yeah. It changed the conditions by which slavery could be administered. It didn't get rid of it. Think about it. Right? If you first, you ain't supposed to have a person held for involuntary servitude or slavery. But then the 14th Amendment is say, unless duly convicted of a felony. Right? Where do they derive their felonies from? They're not coming from the law of the land. Because if they was, then no drug dealer would be in prison. Because the government brought all the dope here.
Sure did, yes.
Right? So why are they bringing all the dope here and then punishing us for making a living off the dope they brought? It was all a trap to begin with. The rats don't put the cheese in the trap, but he always get caught in it. We didn't bring the dope over here, but we always got caught in it.
Yeah.
And very few of us understood what happened with Iran-Contra.
Okay.
And that this is not a new government thing. You go all the way back to the Opium Wars. Britain was the king of drug dealers. They did it in the Opium Wars. They flooded China with cheap discount opium and opened up opium dens everywhere. So what did Mayo's Dome do when he got in there? Anybody that get caught smoking opium, you dead. Nothing to negotiate. Ain't non-negotiable. If you're smoking opium, you are a pariah to the system. You die. Everybody's like, how you just gonna kill all of the people? They was like wet rags laying around opium dens, and they couldn't even get up and go nowhere. They already dead. They just ain't literally dead. But for all intents and purposes, they contribute contributions to life. They taking up oxygen for people that could actually be using it to accomplish something.
Yeah.
Right? So you give a person enough dead weight, you're going to wear them down eventually.
Yeah. While you take a pause for a minute, I just want to tell everybody that's in the chat, thank you so much for keeping the conversation going. I see your questions. We're going to give you some time to ask the chief the questions. But thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing information with each other. I see 1,533 people in the chat. Hit the like button, please. That will help the algorithms. And please support our chief. Chief Rod Hayes has been giving out information for probably about a decade that I know of. and he's not paid for this. So I ask that you show him and me and his soul tribe how much we appreciate him for his hard work. You can either send him a blessing by two methods. You can send him a blessing via Cash App. Let's see. Cash App is $SIK8. That's Cash App, capital SIK, capital APE. Or you can send him a donation to his PayPal, which is at 6801, SIKAPE01. What does SIK8 mean before you go on?
Soldiers in Illuminati are present everywhere.
Okay.
It's an acronym. So it was the communication between me and somebody who came up with something called the Don Illuminati theory. It's a tribal communication.
Okay. And I'm going to take this off the screen, family, but if you look at the ticker below, you will see different methods that you can support the Chief Rod Hayes for always coming on here. And he spends hours of his time. He got a lot of knowledge already in his head, but he studies as well, and he disseminates information on his social media platforms, doesn't ask for a penny, never has. Then he comes on different shows and he gives all this information and never asks for anything. So again, I ask, if you appreciate the information that he's sharing, please support him by sending him some ends, okay, some duckies, as we used to say, to that's the wrong one, to $SIK, capital SIK, capital APE for Cash App. And PayPal is the same thing, except it's 6801. Okay. Thank you, family. So you talked to me about the immigration. And the reason why I brought that up is because after what happened at the White House with the unaliving of 2 National Guardsmen, President Trump, he took a hard stance against immigration. He said he's going to vet everybody more thoroughly. He's freezing the asylums. People will come here, their visas would expire, then they would just apply for asylum. He's freezing all that. He's putting a halt on green cards. It's like people think he's crazy, like he's a madman. What do you say to all that?
Another thing that has to happen before they hand the keys back to the tribes is they have to shut the government all the way down. That means they have to close the air travel in the borders.
Okay.
When they get ready to do the big transfer, it's going to be one airport open. It's probably going to be the one in New York, JFK, because it's the one with the most international flights. Either that one or LAX, but it ain't going to be both of them.
Okay.
And that's only going to be for dignitaries, foreign dignitaries that's going to come over here to acknowledge the tribes. And just like what you've seen the Colombian president do, except they're going to be coming to talk to the people and to offer whatever they country or a nation can give us to support. It's a whole, they was waiting on us. The rest of the world been waiting on America. One of these chiefs gonna figure this stuff out sooner or later. And all of the ones around the world been waiting on us. Because we was the ones holding everybody back, because where America go, the world go. Right? We accustomed to calling it America now. Mm-hmm. Right? So we use the term because that's what we're accustomed to, but we're going to change the name.
Oh, yeah?
I guarantee you we're going to change the name. We're going to change the borders.
Oh.
We aren't going to have states. We're going to have territories and provinces. And it's going to be the matriarchy that's going to do the new lines of demarcation. So if you going to get your testicles in the bunch because you ain't in on the meeting, too bad for you. You might as well go get castrated. But it's going to be based on socioeconomic, the ability to administer socioeconomic support to every part of the land. Okay. That's what it's based on. That's different between patriarchy and matriarchy. Under patriarchy, it's for military conquest and control, military control. Under the matriarchy, it's about bountiful abundance. Right? Magnetic love energy. And it changes the way people behave and treat each other.
Okay.
Right? Just when the women get what's rightfully theirs back, It's going to make all of the real men stand up and be like, I could be a man now.
Okay.
Because a lot of them right now is running around hiding behind garbage cans, people around the corner, hoping that they don't see massa coming.
So what about the matriarchy makes the man want to stand up even stronger?
Look, you know how women be aggressive with men, cuss them out, and ain't none of that. Man, women in their nature, when they be able to follow their nature, it make men just melt at the presence of women. They can't help it. That's where your whole Medusa story came from. The mischaracteristics or an exaggeration of the true story. Every man has seen a woman where he just freezes and he can't do nothing, just look at her. You look too long, now you lost your head. Because the Gorgons was warrior priestesses. They were similar to the Amazonians, but their mission was to settle Greece.
Okay.
Medusa's name is Helen. Medusa is her title.
Oh.
And she's a Psi priestess, which means she was a grand doula. The title Medu, or the number Medu, is 10 in Kemetic. That's the highest rank. Right? So she was the highest ranked doula of the Hellenistic system. So they called her Medu Sa. Then you had, when she was Helen, you ever heard of Hellenistic society?
Yes.
Okay. This is talking about a feminine society. This is why Bobby Hemmings say all of that dark shit, that hell shit, that's the feminine realm. That's what he was talking about. So here we come years later, and we're trying to look at ancient times and modern lenses, and we're going to always be distorted because of it. It's not the same.
Okay. So I heard you say a little earlier they're going to turn things over to the tribes. They're going to turn the government over to the tribes here on the land?
And they got no choice. We was governing the land before they came. Why we can't govern it now? We just had to re-educate and educate ourselves above the ignorant conditions that we was subjugated to. They killed off all our educated. When we seen lynchings, we thought they were just random people, melanated people. Them was not random people.
Okay.
The prelude to the lynchings was your intelligence, your ability to stand your ground, and your ability to educate and influence others. You did. That was a death warrant. That's why we take pride in being ignorant now, trying to avoid being lynched.
Oh.
And most of us don't know that what we call a KKK is a Masonic Brotherhood from Spain called the Black Brotherhood of Spain. They was more. The original KKK members under them robes looked like us.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, when you look back at some of the old pictures from the 1800s, look at the hands. Make sure you look at the hands, because you're gonna be surprised how many black hands hanging under black robes. Then you know why the black hand was the most feared thing in the South. Because you didn't know if it was this nigga sitting next to you or the one you just bought your stuff from in the pharmacy that's gonna don this robe. They led and trained and educated the pale-faced KKK. Now, I don't know what the new one's gonna do, because all they grandbabies mulattoes now.
And where did they come from? These are the Moors from Spain, you say?
Yeah, the conquistadors. If you go to the computer right now and type in Black Brotherhood of Spain.
Okay. Black Brotherhood. Okay, let's see. The Black Brotherhood of Spain most likely refers to the Hermandad de los Negritos in Seville, one of the oldest surviving brotherhoods in Spain, founded in 1393 for black slaves and former slaves. I'll bring it up. Black Brotherhoods of Spain. Okay. Brotherhood of Spain. Family, hit the like button, please, and share the video. Make sure you send the chief. Oh my God. Make sure this took me by surprise. Make sure you send the chief a blessing. I couldn't even get my words out. Make sure you send a contribution to the chief for enlightening us. Who knew the KKK were a bunch of dark-skinned people? Yeah, somebody said it's the black nobility.
They are absolutely correct. The black nobility is the ones that got kicked out of Europe for eating and raping babies.
Oh my God.
And now they want to mix in with us like they normal and we ain't.
Oh my God. Look at this. This is wild.
Each one of them colors represents something different. When they wearing a different color robe.
Yes, I see black. Oh, I see the white and blue.
Yeah, keep scrolling down. You're going to see the all white ones too.
Jiminy Crick, yes. I see all white ones with the pointy head things. Pointy hoods. This is wild. Oh, I see black with blue.
Yeah, they got different colors for different stuff. In the original Klansmen, the leaders used to wear the different color robes. The one they called the Grand Dragon, he wore the black and red robe. The Grand Wizard wore a blue robe. They had different titles and ranks, and they all had different color robes that matched their rank.
Look at this one right here.
Yep. So that's the blackface. The blackface was to tell us who was behind the dirt. That's why the pale face dressed up in blackface. Because when they kicked the Moors out of Europe, the dirty Moors, they came over here. So they started doing black. That's called a minstrel performance, by the way. Blackface is minstrel performance.
Okay.
The minstrels was another way of saying theater back then.
Okay. Minstrel.
Right. Yeah. So they dress up in blackface. They telling you the story of they're telling you the story of the ones who was pulling their strings. Now, the paleface identify who their handler is by what's called a type in Moorish brooch.
Okay.
This is where they get the name Jews from.
Moorish brooch. BROACH,
I think.
BROACH? Okay.
Go to images.
Okay. Let me see if it's showing on your end. Oh.
Okay, now this is how they got to be called Jews.
Oh.
Dr. Clark got a lecture. Dr. John Henry Clark got a lecture. He said they was named Jews because of the jewels they wore. This is the jewels when you converted, that the one who was in charge of your family gave you one of these when you representing them, you wear it. You see that lady right there that's coming up on the left?
On the left.
Click on her picture.
This lady right here?
Yep. So she's some kind of European nobility. And she got the brooch on. She's telling you who's her handler.
What? I see it right here. Do I need to make it bigger, or can you see on your end?
It's not up to me. It's up to the people that's watching. You can make it bigger for them. I already know what it look like.
We already know. Okay, family, can y'all see that? They look like us, but they ain't us. Somebody says. Let me make it a little bigger. Yes. Okay. What is a blackamoor brooch? The controversy explored in Harry and Meghan. What? Harry and
Meghan. They wear them too. All of the royal families of Europe wear these.
Are those the images? Yeah. Anything specific I'm looking for?
When you go through them, you're going to see that most of the brothels is full of pale-faced women.
They are. Yes, I see that.
Okay, now.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, now. This takes us to J.A. Rogers, who they labeled a crack and an insane researcher, and said he didn't have any alphabets behind his name, so his research couldn't be taken serious, but he got all his receipts in the book. But anyway, going back to J.A. Rogers, Nature Knows No Color Line and Sex and Race explores what's going on over here. Right? Now, they had this presentation they used to give about whitewashing the people through amalgamation, forced amalgamation.
The best
Right?
little whorehouse in Texas. I remember hearing about that. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
There's actually a movie about that.
Okay.
I think it's porno though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Syrians is the ones from Prussia. They used to be called the Prussian Empire. Later it became known as Khazaria. Right? That was the original homeland of the Huns that they brought over as servants. Later on, Khazarians, the ones that was the mulatto offspring of those out of those Moorish harems didn't have birthrights. So the children and the concubines who mothered them got together and refused. The women refused sex, and the children refused to do anything that the father said until they gave them some rights. So they felt they would be harmless to just put them over the bank because we still own the money, but they can live off the bank by administering banking. This is where you get your Rothschilds from. This is where you get your Warburg family from. And a lot of these other ones that we think is nobility, they're not nobility, they peasantry. But they've been put in the royal palaces of Europe.
Oh.
And a lot of them are mulatto offspring. This is how when they say tracing their bloodline, and nobody in Europe that's pale face can trace their bloodline straight back longer than about 200 years. Because they were all being shuffled around in what we would call them pauper villages. Right? And they were setting up these villages for a repository of slaves that was captured in warfare. So the Ottomans coming in from the east is meeting up with the Etruscans coming across the Iberian Peninsula into Spain. And then what ended up happening is the Europeans figure out what's going on. Why are all of the babies coming up missing? When they finally find the stronghold of where the babies was, we can look at the timeline where they located them because they gave us orphan trains and babies coming in on ships by the hundreds. Right? These ships, you got children coming in with the Ellis Island immigration alone at 10 and 8 and 7 years old. They used to literally put the babies in the mail.
Oh my God.
You go back to the Google and say mailing babies. You're going to see a mailman with a baby in his basket.
Mailing babies. Okay. That yeah, somebody said that the world has been evil. This is heartbreaking. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's been the same people behind it. You can trace them all the way back to ancient Babylon.
Where do they come from? Like, are these humans? Are they non-humans?
They not humans.
Okay.
Right. They are what's the word for something? They anthropomorphic aliens that look human. They didn't come here looking like that.
Okay.
They got to die so many times on Earth to take on the physical body. When they first came, they didn't look like that.
Okay.
On a second and third iterations, they suffer from a condition called ichthyosis, severe ichthyosis.
Okay.
Right. If you look ichthyosis up, it's also called lizard skin. Right. But the ichthyosaur was an ancient fish that they named after. That's so we know that the people with the condition been here a long time, but they don't belong here.
So they're not human, and but they do mate with some of the humans, don't they?
They can't have babies with humans.
Oh, they can't.
Mhm.
Okay.
Not
Okay.
the real ones. Some of the ones that's hybrids that is from a different alien species, they can mix their blood with human blood. But the other ones, the woman will spontaneously abort every time, unless
Mm,
you got to go through a whole process to get her to carry the baby to term. And that's how you know who they is, because most of the time they don't have children, they adopt.
wow.
And they love adopting our children because they think they can change their temperament to from being like us to being like them.
Hmm. Was it you that once said these are the people that's living in gated communities?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's how they stay away from the general public, so you can't see their little idiosyncrasies that are revealed who they is.
Hmm.
They try not to cohabit with us.
Oh, somebody said that's why they're so big on incubation.
Incubators ancient.
Okay. Now, are these are these the ones that go into Hollywood or they control Hollywood?
Um, they own Hollywood.
Okay, they own Hollywood.
Okay, now they also have handlers. Like for instance, the queen of the dam is Kim Kardashian, right? She's the highest ranked Hollywood witch right now
Hmm.
because she's the most phenotypically like a sister out of the collection of the witches. Which means that she had to have been here a certain amount of time and died a certain amount of times in order to come back looking like that. Otherwise, she came back looking like her sister, Harvey Weinstein,
Oh, okay.
with ambiguous genitalia.
Her sister, Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah,
Oh,
he looked like a man, but he's not a man.
okay.
He's what you call a XY female. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, a hermaphrodite?
Not a hermaphrodite. It's a
Hermaphrodite?
difference.
Okay.
If you look up a YX male or
Yeah.
XY female, they look anatomically correct for the wrong gender.
XY female. Oh, it comes right up. Never heard of this before.
These are conditions from I'm not sure. I think they were talking about. I'm not sure exactly what they were talking about. I probably have to go back a couple of comments to find out.
Are y'all talking about what's the woman that married the sister that married Harry, Prince Harry?
Really, Meghan Markle, Meghan something, ain't it?
Yes, Meghan Markle, you're right. I don't see what they're saying up.
Oh, Meghan Markle was the president of France's wife, ain't it?
Marco is the one who married the Prince
Prince
Harry.
Harry?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
She was an actress over here. I never even knew who she was before she got married, but people were celebrating her.
Yeah,
Right?
she was in a couple of sitcoms. It's not sitcoms. She married the prince and she became a princess. Before that, she was a duchess. Well, titles of nobility: noble, honorable. Those are all titles of nobility. Esquire, sir. Sir is a knight. That's why they got it. When they get that knight, they call you sir. Elton John, Sir Elton John is his official name.
Okay. Do you have time to answer some questions, Chief?
Yeah, let's do about 4 or 5 questions.
Okay. Let's see. Thank you, family, for joining us. Thank you so much for your donation. Who is this? This is Jay. Says, who do you think will form the new tribes, the government for us? That's a great question. NOI, Good Moors, tribes. Also, who is on those crafts? Peace, Dr. P and Rod. Thank you both. Thank you for asking the question. So who will form the new tribes or the government for us?
The tribes is already here. We ain't never went nowhere. We already formed. We just been misclassified and confused about who our identity is. right? So we have a contingency of tribal chiefs in Raven Rock, Colorado right now that's part of the continuity of government team. If you pull the continuity of government document, we on like the last 4 or 5 pages of the document in the transitional phase.
Okay.
That's why I used to tell everybody to read it early on. So when I start telling them stuff, they see this is a blueprint. This not accident. This ain't like I just woke up today and decided to give y'all some information. No, this is the ongoing process and the blueprint for the tearing down of a 6,000-year-old system and the reinstitution of a new system. But you can't do it all in one day because it's too much work.
And who's on the ships? Do we know who are on those ships?
Yeah, it's delegates from multiple different places. There's a lot of them that comes bearing gifts because we the first one to break the hold of Enlil, which freed them too. And we only talk about Earth. We Earthborn. So we only consider Earth in a liberation fight. But when you realize that the fight didn't start on Earth, they call it a war in heaven, which is a war in the skies, which is a war on the craft that's in the sky. In the war, the ones who was at war got kicked off the planet ship. You're not finna bring that bullshit on this ship. Go back down there where you was at fighting before, and y'all fight it out down there. And it just so happened to be based on gender, not skin color. Skin color is a secondary adaptation to the war. That's why the same people that been ruling, they looked it like us until about 500 years ago. Now all of a sudden they whitewashing us, make us think that somebody else was in power. It's not the case.
Thank you, Chief. And somebody wonder, is this going to be a paperwork thing, in order for the tribal people to?
No.
Okay. No.
Okay. So what's going to happen when we start redistributing wealth? The family farms that we was kicked off of, that they told us was a plantation, and your granddaddy or your grandmama lost it in the sharecropping agreement, or they got foreclosed on, or one of your cousins sold it off. You can't sell the land. So the first thing they're going to do is identify what family lines belong to what plot of land. Right? When they figure that out, like for instance, my mother's father's side is almost a third of southwestern Mississippi. Right? But everybody that's on that land is not from his bloodline. But we got so many relatives down there, it don't matter. They can stay as far as we care.
Okay.
Right. So when they go in there and say, okay, Hezekiah Johns had this much land. Right. Then all my cousins that my aunties had and my uncles will have a picnic. It'll be under either one of his wives' name or his name. Right. He inherited the land from his mother and he refused to sell it, and then got one of his wives got tricked out of it after he died. Magnolia, Mississippi, Charlottetown, Mississippi, Macomb, Mississippi, Sunflower, Mississippi. All of that is built on what used to be my grandparents' land.
Wow.
And it's a lot of land. And he had so much land that it took him 2 days to ride horse from one end to the other.
Wow. So, but how is that going to work? So, do you have to present yourself to the government, and then they'll
your family know who you is?
Okay.
Because when you go to a family reunion, what's the first thing somebody asks you? Who your mama?
Who your mama is?
Who your daddy?
Yeah.
Because we all know who our family is. We just forgot that our family came from somewhere central. So we had family reunions trying to keep the family in communication and contact so we can get it all back at the end.
So you don't need to do paperwork.
No, your family knows you need to know where your family farm is at. Everybody that traced their heritage back, you ain't gonna never find no slaves, but you're gonna find a sharecropper.
Oh, okay.
That's 9.9 out of 10 how we lost most of the land.
I heard you once say that the plantations were big. That was Big Mama's house. It wasn't the slave master.
They took Mama name off and called it the Big House. I couldn't understand that when I was little because I kept saying, "Man, they're like Big Mama house. Why they call it the Big House?" It wasn't the Big House. It was Big Mama house. There was a bunch of big houses all around the place. Uncle Jimmy's house was big. Uncle Charles' house was big. But Big Mama had Big Mama house. You always knew her house because she had these big ass pillars in front of it. Now, when you ride through the South, they tell you that's an old plantation house right there. That's what Master them used to say, sleeping in your great grandmama bed.
Whoa. It made us hate the plantation, and that was our land.
That's the only way they can stop us from being able to feed ourselves off the land. They had to make us hate working the land, make us hate everything about our natural culture. Remember, most of the Big Mamas, they was widows by the time they was mid-30s.
Okay. Because they married.
Here come this Django looking nigga with this shiny ass suit. And all he want to do is get the land from under. What do you do?
Oh, he was a brother? A Django man?
Yeah.
Ah.
Okay, now this is what we used to call the house nigga. When we said we didn't like house niggas, this is why.
Okay.
We married Big Mama. He poisoned her. We all suspicious that he did something to Big Mama. There's no way Big Mama supposed to die at 45, 50 years old.
Right.
Big Papa gone. He lived to be 130. He married Big Mama when she was 12 and he was 98. Now she lonely.
Yeah.
Right? So here come this shiny suit wearing Django looking Negro. With his bright smile, European nobility. They was dressed like the nobles from Europe with the fluffy ass shirts and all that. That ain't how we used to dress.
Wow. Somebody said Moors versus Moors.
That's what the war was. That was the George Washington challenge.
What was that? That was them against us?
Yeah. The goal was who was going to educate themselves above the condition.
Okay.
The righteous Moors or Moors and the dirty Moors. You got a lot of good guys that call themselves Moors because the misleading of the ones who brought the concept.
Okay.
Moor is an exonym. They didn't call themselves Moors. They was called Moors by the ones who was kicking them out of Europe.
Yeah. Okay.
But when they got over here, so they married Big Mama, poisoned her off, but what do they do next? They hire something called a management firm. Right? If you type in Dr. Benjamin Rush, he was the teacher of managers. Of what they called them back then was they were farm managers, but they became plantation managers.
Okay.
When they trained them, they wasn't training people that look like us. But people that look like us was hiring the people from their programs to manage the farm. Right? Now, that being understood, why after they so-called emancipated the slave, was they begging us to come work the land because they didn't know what to do?
Ah.
That's how you know that they're not from the land.
Okay.
The Irish knew how to farm in Ireland. How they get over here and forget? Right? The Englishmen, they knew how to farm in England. But how did they get over here and forget? America got a unique soil. If you don't grow it in the right place at the right time, you're not going to get what you're trying to grow. And the only people that understood the growing patterns of this land was the people from the land.
Somebody asked, well, so what's going to happen with those towns that were built on our land?
Some of them gonna be repurposed. It depends. We have a lot of re-educating ourselves to do among ourselves
Okay.
about how we gonna deal with people that came over here involuntarily, and how we gonna deal with people that came voluntarily and became refugees on the land, because everybody came here didn't plan to stay.
Mm.
They tell you that in a lot of the colonizer journals. They tell you that they came over here to get a certain amount of wealth to go back home and live the rest of their life. They ended up getting stranded over here, and their offspring got stranded over here. Right? But when we finally really snap out of the hole of the slumber, you'll be able to look at somebody and say, they don't look like us, but they want us. Because we the only ones that move like that. We're the only ones that you can't imitate. Like, if a pale face try to imitate one of us and he's straight from Europe, it's going to automatically sound racist. It's going to automatically sound racist. They're not even racist, but it will sound racist because of their ability to imitate us is limited to how much blood quantum. You gotta remember, when they got done, they gave the managers free run of the women of the plantation. That was one of their incentives. Right? And some of them had children by their children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. But the scheme constantly lightened after 4 generations. They octoroon now, they can pass. J. Edgar Hoover, John Wayne, Elvis Presley, Marilyn Monroe, Liz Taylor, Lucille Ball, all of them passing. All of the biggest ones in Hollywood. What was the one dude? He was an Arab. Errol Flynn. Right? And so all these people, you wasn't able to get in Hollywood. Part of you getting that Oscar is you had to deceive the world into believing you wasn't one of us.
Wow.
If the role that you played, they say, yeah, it was a good role. He played a good white boy on that one. He's a nigga though. He's an octoroon. But he's past imitation of life. Right?
Imitation of life, yes.
Yeah. So while she's up there dancing with all of the chicks that's pale face, she's passing. And don't want nobody to know that her mama was dark as night. But that's why Oscar, if you look up who the Oscar was named after, he was a brother.
What?
Yeah, Oscar was a brother, but he was also a Mason.
Oh. Who was Oscar's named after? Officially named after one specific person. Oh, that says it's not, but let me see. Let me see the images. Oh, I'm going to see if this is the guy you're talking about. I see an image.
Yes.
Wow.
If the toothpick comes out of the cake clean, you give them an award. It's called an Oscar.
What? Wow.
They've successfully assimilated one drop of blood. Okay, now, in America, got something called the one drop rule. What do it mean? Almost everybody know it.
You got one drop of nigger blood, then you...
Okay, now, right. But America's called God's crucible the great melding pot. What the fuck that mean? What is a crucible? What is a melting pot?
A melting pot?
Okay, so in cooking terms, melting pot is the easiest one for you to get.
Okay.
Let's say you got a big chunk of chocolate and a big chunk of caramel.
And they melt together.
And you want to blend them. So you take one pot and you submerge it in the other pot with the water under, and then you put your chocolate and your caramel in there, and you stir the crucible or the melting pot until everything is melted. Once everything melted, you got to have a test to determine if it's done.
Okay.
Right. So, the test for solar simulation is arts and entertainment. That's all right brain. Right. The organism that was trying to assimilate the drop of blood, what happens to them if they don't awaken that drop of blood? Do Stephen Hawking's college road team photo.
Okay. Somebody said that Ptah created us in the chat. Is that supposed to be who created humans?
That's the Egyptian story of Ptah.
Okay.
Foreign man on the potter's wheel.
The Christians, when I was in church, we used to sing the song, "The Potter wants to put you back together again."
Y'all was singing about Ptah.
My Lord.
There's no Christian story of anybody using the potter's wheel to create man. The closest thing to it is the Adam story, where they say man was formed from the dust of the earth.
Yes.
But it don't say nothing about a potter's wheel. In the story of Ptah, it specifically say the potter's wheel. But we will go back to that.
Okay, so what am I looking up again?
Shit, I forgot what I should look up.
I forgot too. Family, do you remember what he said I should look up? I know we were talking about Ptah. Oh, somebody said, so why did Denzel get an Oscar for being a dirty cop?
That's because the program expired in 1976. It was only a 200-year experiment. They got an extension because we took them to war in 1812 and broke the agreement. So we had to start all over in 1812, which brought us to 2012. But the simulation had to be determined by the 200-year mark. But they still get an extra extension of 50 to 60 years to reign. And that's why you end up at 2012.
And why did we go beyond 2012?
Now we're in the process of the transfer.
Okay.
Everything after 2012 is moving to the new age, and it's the dismantling of the old age.
So I don't want to keep you on too long, but I do want to ask you something that's very important to me, and that is, how should we be preparing for this new age?
Most of, as long as we don't test shit up, and it's not going to be as difficult. Most of us is already prepared, but we don't know it. That's why we ain't trying to prepare.
We're already prepared. Okay.
Look, okay, so you've seen the rollout of the National Guard. They still there. You just don't see them in the streets. But one of their jobs is to feed the people during the transfer between the banks collapsing and the new banks coming fully functional. Right. So when the old banks collapse, then the National Guard is going to be having food pits set up. Okay. This is why they was worried about the run on the grocery store, because ain't nobody going to have to be hungry. There's a couple of things that when you come over here, you're not supposed to ever need: food, clothing, and shelter. Now, if there's something else outside of food, clothing, and shelter that you need, that's something that you got to learn how to get on your own. But that was hardwired into tribal society. Nobody's homeless, nobody's starving, and nobody's walking around naked. We used to pick up naked people that float ashore from other places, and what do? They wrap them with a blanket. The blanket is more symbolic than just kind of keep you warm. It's also a blanket of protection. It's also a spiritual covering. Yes, it's also a tribal recognition of your humanity. Some tribes don't give out blankets; they give out slippers. When you go into Spanish and the Samoan culture, in the Hispanic culture, they call it a chunkla. It's Big Mama's power, her slipper. You tear your little ass up with that slipper. I don't care if you is 55 years old. Get out of line, Big Mama go upside your head with that slipper.
Yes.
Don't try to run because she'll beat you with it from 5 blocks away. How the hell she hit me with that slipper? Which back then, slipper was made out of wood. And they used to fly like a boomerang. Some of them was made out of leather, but most of them was made with wooden bottoms.
You know, speaking of the transition of power and banks shutting down, the government did, it shut down for a while, but it did reopen, and now they're saying
it didn't reopen.
It did not reopen.
That was not. It was a vote for a 30-day. I think it was like a 30-some day extension. That's an extension of government and reopening the government is two different things.
Oh, thank you for correcting me.
Yeah. So the new government is open in Philadelphia, but it's not active. It's just open.
Okay.
Right. That was announced by Anne Von Rights on the 17th.
Okay.
Right. The death of the old corporation or government was announced on Hannity. I think it was on like November the 10th, right around my birthday. Right. So it was 7 days apart.
What was that when he said what did he say? The government is over or something like that?
I think you posted it.
I did. I was just about to go see if I could find that right quick. I thought it was on the short. So, but they said it might shut down. I thought they said it might shut down again January 31st. What's the January 31st date?
That's the end of the extension.
Oh, I see.
The only people that's worried about in government to pay right now is soldiers. They don't care about nobody else getting paid. They don't care about judges getting paid. They don't care about municipal ordinance operators of public transportation getting paid. They only care about the military getting paid right now.
Okay. So you have, but I thought government workers went back to work. They didn't go back to work?
Some of them might have went back because that's what you would have been called essential workers.
I see. I see.
Yeah. But if they while they were shut down, they got rid of like almost 60% of the federal workforce.
So you have federal, go ahead. You have the federal government shutting down, and then you have people saying they're losing their benefits like Section 8, food stamps, TANF, temporary assistance and needy family, WIC, women, infants, and children vouchers. And they're saying that, the people that are receiving those benefits, that's crazy. The government shouldn't be doing that. What do you say?
They have to. You have to close it down. They're going to still have to feed the people, though. If they don't do nothing else, they're going to feed us.
Okay.
But here go the thing. When you shutting down the government, right, a lot of programs between the transition of the shutdown of one and the reactivation of the new, that's going to have some crisis in there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, when you look at what's being shut down, all that shit from the banks. Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae.
Yeah, yeah.
It's all banking.
Okay.
The only thing that's not banking is food, but we don't have we used to have tribal networks that rode the Mississippi River, and then you had tribes that would meet them at designated locations to receive food stuff. In the North, we grew different food than we grew in the South. We had more trees in the North and more farms in the South, right? Now, they chopped down damn near all of the trees. The forestation of America was so vast, but they chopped on all the trees. This is your great lumberjack stories, your Paul Bunyan stories, and all that stuff, right? Now, we come in, we don't have our same network, but the government had a National Guard. right? And this is why it's important for us to know what's in that continuity of government, because the National Guard, you go back to Ronald Reagan, you remember when he started Focus Hope?
I don't remember that.
Under Reaganomics, Focus Hope started under Reaganomics, but it was a ripoff of a food drive program from the Panthers.
Oh.
Ronald Reagan couldn't believe that it was actually people in the country starving, because he was aware, ever since he was the governor of California, of the warehouses of food, prices food we had on reserve. Well, they wasn't giving us that. They was only using it for military and military alone. But it was designed to feed us for up to 5 years in the crisis. They called them Pharaoh's coffers in the secret society. Tied back to the story of Joseph and the feast and famine that it dreamed that the Pharaoh had.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. This was called the Pharaoh's coffers. Now you got the ones that's searching for ways to invigorate their youth. That came from a group of billionaires called the Lazarus Project. They actually did an episode of X-Files based on them, and they searched for the fountain of youth or a philosopher's stone to give them eternal youth.
Okay. Thank you, Chief.
I'll send it to you on Messenger.
Okay, go there. Did you send it yet, Chief?
Mm-hmm. It's probably
did?
buffering.
Okay. Rod Hayes. It must be buffering. I don't see it yet. You sent on my Facebook Messenger.
Mm-hmm.
Come on. Let me look on my phone. I don't see it on the computer.
It's still saying sending on, man.
Oh, okay. I have one too. I wonder if it's the same one I have.
She said with minimum rioting and right. That's why I'm not supposed to be going to public events so that they can't be tied to any type of unrest.
Oh.
Right. So we follow all of the steps that the elders laid down. This stuff was passed down to us through folklore from our parents. And we had to find the tangible receipt to prove what they told us to be true. My mama kept saying, we ain't from no damn Africa. We quit saying we from Africa.
Sure did.
So I'm confused. I'm like, well, shit, they keep telling me I'm from Africa. But she said, you better check your mind, because I'm being with you all the time, and we ain't from no damn Africa.
Yes.
So I'm like, well, what do you mean? My daddy was a chief. My mama tell you, her daddy was a chief, a full-feathered chief.
Wow.
I said, okay, mama, I'm going to go investigate, and I'm going to see what I come up with. I ain't know I was going to come up with all this shit, though. God damn.
Somebody asked what's her name. Her name is Anna Von Reitz. She is a judge of...
She was. She discovered the fraud as a judge. She filed a lawsuit. Matter of fact, I got a post on my page. I'm going to send it to you so you can share it in the description later.
Okay. You want to send it to me now, or you want to send it to me later?
I'm sending it to you now, but we can It ain't coming up. I might send it to you later.
Okay. Somewhere the other day.
It's in my story.
It was in your story. That's where I probably saw it. A judge getting arrested. Yes. If you send that to me, I will share that in the description. Thank you, Chief. Any final words as we're wrapping up, Chief Pontiac, for the Soul
Yeah,
Tribe?
yeah, just don't fall for the banana in the tailpipe. This is over with. They got to give it all back to us. They can't give it to somebody that they think is us. They can't give it to somebody that's pretending to be us. It got to be us,
Who's us?
the original people of the land. They know who we are.
Okay.
They know exactly who we are.
Thank you so much, Chief Pontiac. I appreciate you taking time out in your evening to come and share your wisdom and information with the Soul Tribe. We're going to do our best to show you how much we appreciate you by either sending you a PayPal. So family, let's pull together our resources to help the chief. The chiefs and the elders should never suffer. They should never go without. It is our responsibility as tribal members to take care of the chiefs. It's our responsibility to take care of our elders so they don't even have to work. That's the way I was raised. So if you support that ideology and you appreciate Chief Pontiac's work, please send him a PayPal. If you have PayPal, you can send that to @SIK801. That's at capital SIK capital APE01. That's the PayPal here. Or you can send him a Cash App. He accepts Cash Apps as well. And that Cash App is $SIK8, capital SIK, capital APE. So I'll put it up here on the screen, but it was also scrolling down at the bottom I think they call that the ticker. You'll see it scrolling along the screen. So that's it, family. Anything else, Chief?
That's it.
That's it. That's it, family. Thank you all so much for joining us tonight. People are saying thank you, job well done. They appreciate it. It's a phenomenal bill. I see fire emojis. You're welcome, family. We love you so much. Salute to the chief. That's right.
For the one in Australia, it had to be tied to what you're talking about. Binding being so they got a certain amount of things that if she related to this, it'll activate a sleeper, but they got to give you some kind of way of knowing who they targeted. Right? And what the underlying event is about. Right? Now, I don't know if you remember this, but about a year and a half ago, they was activating the sleeper cell to do something to Ali Carter.
Yep.
Okay, now the sleeper that's supposed to did it rejected the contract, which triggered the incident in New Orleans, the big E&O. Right, because and then there's a retaliation that come with it. The retaliation was to blow up the Tesla in front of the Trump building.
Yeah,
right?
I remember that.
Okay, now they telling them why they turned down the contract. Why the sleeper? Because they're not supposed to be able to give a no answer. They're supposed to just automatically go into operational mode.
Facts.
But by the frequency of the earth breaking down and people are awakening, a lot of the people that they chose to be sleepers is carry a certain frequency that allow them to be effective in anything they do. But the same thing is when the awakening comes, they begin to, your programs don't work on them the same no more.
Yep.
It gives them the option to say no. Now, the Brown University, Brown is tied to Cleveland Browns football team. Right? The Cleveland Indians, right, was the Ottawa Indians.
Yep.
Right? Now, the tie is the struggle against them reclaiming their birthright. Most of the people that's last name Brown, one of the largest clans on the land, their last name is Brown. And they are a sub-tribe of Cleveland Indians. This is why the Cleveland Browns is the mascot. Named after the clan that carried the last name Brown, old Mississippians living in what we call the Ohio Valley. right? So this is where you get your Cleveland Indians from, right?
Fact.
The Cleveland Indians is the play on words for Cleaver Indians, which was the reference to the the tomahawk, right? So they use a lot of our stuff in a coded fashion, and we got to figure it out.
Matter of fact,
So
I got a video. Do you want me to show you this video? The one that you sent me about the guy.
what Mongolian and Hun servants as helping hands with them as they slaves and as they indentures. This is the people that became Native Americans. They primarily, so because it's a convenient misnomer or mischaracteristic of events to say that they came across the Bering Straits, right? Because they haven't been here that long. So the ones that came across the Bering Straits was stopped by forestation in Canada from proceeding further into the land. So the only ones that's actually Siberians is the Inuits, who we call today Eskimos. Right? They came across the Bering Straits. They actually was settled. That was part of Russia when they settled it. Until Russia sold it to America.
So this
right?
is part of the inception point for the $5 Indian DOS community.